to the Sad Fan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad from this week. And there was not a lot to be sad about, as everyone was playing cupcakes except for maybe Notre Dame, Georgia, Clemson. Do we consider Fresno State a cupcake yet? I don't know. I'm kind of scared of Fresno State. Just like Colorado probably should have been a little...
Not bad.
Oh, I mean, they're up there with, like, could you imagine if we had a conference of, like, let's take North Dakota State, let's take Montana State, Appalachian State, Fresno State, and let's, like, start putting these teams that are kind of scary in a conference with each other and see what happens. Like, I think that would be very interesting. Well, anyway, you may have noticed, pardon me, that this is the Sad Fan, and both Wes and I were able to make it to games yesterday. I made it to a European football game. Wes made it to a college football game to go watch Washington open up their Big Ten season, pardon me.
Against Weber State. I had no idea where Weber State was. It's in Ogden, Utah.
Is it? Don't they have like a weird mascot? They have like one of the weirdest mascots in all of sports?
I don't know, but it's a wildcat, so it's not that weird.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. One of them has like an alien. I don't know. We're getting off topic, Wes. We're getting off topic. We do this. Anyway, we haven't even asked you about your wedding yet. Did you get your ass on that dance floor? Is that what happened? Did you shake it like no one was watching?
I mean, I blacked out and I danced, so yeah.
Actually, I don't remember my moves. You shook it and told everyone to watch. You were like, watch this, watch this. Watch what I'm going to do. You see the handstand? And everybody's like, no. And you're like, that's because I didn't do it. Stupid. All right, so you got to go to Washington against Weber State. Now we know they are out of Ogden, Utah. How was that? How was it to be back in that atmosphere? Was it a packed stadium to start the game at least?
Yeah, to start the game. It was pretty packed. No, it was good. UW did not look as good as they did last year, but neither did Oregon, so I can't really talk.
Well, let's focus on the game you're on. Now, this is our first measuring stick into how we feel like these Pac-12 teams are going to perform in the Big Ten. So what did you think? Do you think that with this team, the team that they put on the field, that they're going to be competitive in the Big Ten?
I mean, it's hard to judge a team based off of the first game of the year because you got new players, you got new teammates. In the case of Washington, they got new coaches, and these teams are like so shitty. I mean, they should have wiped the floor with them, but at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of teams that struggle with cupcakes this week. So I'm just going to have to give everyone a pass.
You give everyone a pass week one? What is this? Why are you so soft? Are you Dabo Sweeney? Is that what's going on? Are you slowly turning into Dabo Sweeney? Why are you giving everyone a pass?
Gotta give them a pass.
I think you have to give them a pass. Wes, you're so eager to talk about Oregon, and we're just not there yet because I need to hear about your experience. Wes, no one's stupid. Everyone knows why you're giving everyone a pass, and it's because Oregon looked like trash, except for Dylan Gabriel. All right? So let's focus on this game. So nothing looked good from Washington?
I'd say their running game looked pretty good, and they had a solid defense. Their defense looked pretty solid. Right.
They got some big boys on that defense in Washington now.
They do.
DeBoer left some big guys on that defensive line.
We'll see, because I think, who are they playing next week? Next week they're playing Eastern Michigan again.
So they got a week schedule to open up. They got to warm up. They're going to get their players ready. Get the tracks greased.
They're playing the Cougs on September 14th, so that'll be a good game because Washington State looked pretty good. Granted, they played a cupcake, but they at least beat the crap out of them like they should have.
You know who didn't beat the crap out of a cupcake like they should have? We'll just let you do this so we can get this out of the way so I can stop seeing you eager, licking your lips, not focusing on the discussion. Let's just get this Oregon talk out of the way. Let's get it out of your system like Bow Wow, okay? Are you ready for it, Taylor Swift? Tell us how you really felt about Oregon against Idaho.
You call me Taylor Swift, so no, I'm not talking about this game now.
Calm down.
I'm protesting your BS attitude.
So you're not focused. You're very clearly unhinged right now. I can see it. And it's because
you're unhinged. You called me Taylor Swift, you stupid. You stupid.
Excellent retorts all around. Stupid. I'm mad because you called me Taylor Swift.
Calm down, Travis Kelce. I know you love.
Talk to me about how you're feeling about Oregon after that Idaho performance.
It was not good.
He actually didn't need any more words. It was literally just, that's it. That was Oregon's performance.
Run blocking was trash. Secondary was trash. They gave up way too many long passes that kept Idaho in the game. And, I mean, Dylan Gabriel was moving the ball just fine, but the run game, we just kept doing the same run up the middle, and we couldn't block it, and so it went for 1 or 2 yards every time. It's like, cool, let's just keep doing the same thing over and over and ruining all of our drives. Great, I like it. Third and 4, let's run up the middle. Cool.
Does Oregon have a big wide receiver this year? I don't think they do. I don't think they have a big body this year. I think they got a lot of quick guys, but I don't think they have a player over 6'1" playing wide receiver this year, do they?
I don't really track everyone's measurables, everyone's body size.
So when we talk about this and we're looking at this Oregon team, I don't think they have anybody they could just
they probably
throw the ball down the field that can go up and get it. But they have a lot of these little scat back type guys that they just pop the ball out to, and they can run and they can make people miss. But that's not really displaying what Dylan Gabriel can do except for be accurate. Because we're not seeing anything. I think he's 7.8 yards average, right? After the game. But because you and I were having a hell of a time finding air yards, I don't think he threw the ball through the air too often. And that's frustrating. And that's going to look frustrating.
Look at the highlights. He did.
Look at the highlights. We're going to watch my highlights. No, I want to talk about what he actually did. Because he did it one time that you saw that they put on a highlight reel. That's cool. They put the one time he did it on a highlight reel.
Several times.
You saw it twice. Cool. But I guess 2 is more than 1. 2 doubles 1. That's fine. All right.
Gabriel sucks.
No, Dylan Gabriel's played well. All right. Much better than Bo Nix. Huge upgrade over Bo Nix. Bo Nix was trash. And we'll see that in the NFL. We will
see a quarterback. You're the dumbest person I've ever listened to in my entire life. I'm sorry. Bo Nix is trash. Shut the fuck up.
You got so lucky that Sean Payton was desperate for a quarterback, because otherwise he would have been sitting in that green room for 3 rounds.
And that's what everybody out. Okay. And that's why I went first round pick. Okay,
was there a quarterback drafted after Bo Nix?
Yeah, there was.
In the first round? There was one drafted after Bo Nix? After Bo Nix? There was a quarterback drafted after Bo Nix in the first round?
5th of 6th.
Who was the 6th quarterback that was drafted in that first round? It was Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. That's 3. Michael Penix. That's 4. Bo Nix. That's 5.
No, are you?
J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy is 6. You're right. J.J. McCarthy is 6. Okay. So he was the 6th one taken.
Who, Bo Nix?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. Pretty sure he was 5th.
I think he was the 6th one taken. So it went 1, 2, 3. Then we had a couple picks. Then J.J. and Michael Penix. And then I'm right, I think. All right.
Yeah, he was 12th.
Yeah, he got lucky that Sean Payton was desperate.
Did he get lucky? No.
Yeah, that Sean Payton was desperate.
No,
you're an idiot. Sean Payton looked at the bench and saw Zach Wilson. No. And he saw Zach Wilson on the bench.
Let's look at. Okay, and who is Michael Penix losing out to?
Probably an $84 million a year quarterback, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
Kirk Cousins, right? $84 million a year almost.
Cousins. How long has Kirk Cousins been in the league? The dude has a walker.
So does Michael Penix. He's 37 years old, okay? They're both geriatric.
You're an idiot.
Bo Nix won the starting job.
Yeah, Michael Penix did not.
Dylan Gabriel looked significantly better than Bo Nix did in that green outfit.
No, he did not.
Just the fact. And you know what? If you're nice to Dylan Gabriel, maybe he might bring you a playoff berth where Bo Nix got you to. No, he didn't. Damn, that's right. He didn't make it to the playoff because he got swept by Washington.
Let's talk about your UCLA team for a second.
No, we're talking about Oregon and Idaho, Wes. Don't change the subject.
Okay, we already realized Oregon sucked against Idaho. Okay. I told you why. We couldn't for crap, and our secondary was trash.
And no run game. No UCLA, run game.
No, because the run blocking sucked. I told you.
Yeah. It's rough when you play a team like Idaho. Blocking. So do you feel like you were exposed, or do you feel like they just haven't meshed yet?
They just haven't meshed yet.
Okay. So when that does happen, do you think Oregon stands a chance in the Big Ten, or are we worried? Because I'm a little worried right now about them, about Colorado, Texas A&M. I'm worried about Clemson. What's that?
Colorado's not in the Big Ten.
No. I'm saying teams I'm worried about based on their Week 1 performance, Wes. So I'm a little worried about Oregon as it pertains to the Big Ten, but I'm worried about them due to their Week 1 performance.
I mean, we have Boise State coming up in Week 2, so we'll see what happens there.
They had a huge recruiting class in Oregon, huge.
They did.
To include their transfers, and it just did not show. But you know who did show?
Takes a
I
while
know
to
you want to
mesh.
talk about UCLA because you're upset at me, and that's okay. Soothe, calm down.
You guys compare to Hawaii. They don't even have a proper stadium right now. They didn't even score a touchdown against Hawaii.
They scored one touchdown. They scored one touchdown, and they didn't score any touchdowns after that. That is true. It was
a touchdown. You guys did not.
No, they scored a touchdown. They did, Wes.
No,
they scored 7 points, and they kicked 3 field goals to equal 16 points.
Nope.
Okay? Yes.
Nope.
Yes,
nope.
they did.
Nope.
Wes, they scored a touchdown, and they kicked 3 field goals.
Can't even score.
So Oregon, that played around in the transfer portal, just like Miami did. And Miami looked dirty. Miami looked really, really, really good against Florida. And Florida needed a win. Like, Billy Napier needed a win in Florida against Miami.
What's that? He's done after this year.
That's it? Can Florida hasn't been good since Urban Meyer, right? Like,
not really.
No. Yeah, they've been bad.
2 days.
It's the murderer days, the Halo days. So So with Miami taking Cam Ward, who was very coveted in the transfer portal, he played amazingly at Washington State, and now he's in Miami with better athletes than he had at Washington State, and we're really getting to see what he's going to be capable of. And that team, man, Mario Cristobal, say what you want, that dude can recruit. Like, he can recruit.
But he can't coach. He can't coach.
I mean, you remember when Andy Reid in the NFL had the problem with the clock management? How he didn't know how to manage the clock? That is Mario Cristobal in college football. Like, he can get the lead, and then he does not know how to manage the clock after that. He's like, snap, we have a lead. I don't know what to do. I started off my career at Florida International as a head coach, and we never had the lead there. So I don't know what to do when I have the lead.
Here's the thing. I actually think Florida's going to be really trash this year.
Do you?
Yeah.
They're no bowl game trash? No bowl game trash?
No bowl game. They're not making a bowl game.
So 5 wins or 4 wins? What do you
4.5. I'm setting that.
4.5? I wonder what the Vegas line is on over under for Florida as far as wins is concerned. Because it'd be interesting to see, are you right in line with Las Vegas in saying 4.5? I mean, the SEC does not play. Like, the SEC is tough and it's loaded. And now you add Oklahoma and Texas to the mix. And it's going to get very crazy because Texas looks unbeatable.
Texas looks really freaking good this year. It's going to be fun once we get into conference play.
Yeah, Texas is one of the scarier teams that I watched over the weekend. Quinn Ewers, I said this 2 years ago. Remember, this is going to be – we start our 3rd season next week, Wes. We start season 3 because we mark our seasons as the NFL is played. We start season 3 next week. Sorry, it was just a cool pose to show off the arms, show off the biceps and the tricep.
No one cares about that.
So we start our seasons as the NFL season starts, and we're starting season 3 of TheSadFan. And thank you so much, Wes, for being with us. But 2 years ago when we started this, we had your sister on, and we had I would love for Chelsea to come back, but she's going through whatever she's going through. But we had Alabama play Texas, and I said the only reason Texas lost that game is because Quinn Ewers got hurt.
Yeah.
And I think I was right. I do think I was right because he looks good.
One.
Yeah.
He's and really
he looks good again. And he laid him out the next time they played, right? He beat them last year. Quinn Ewers beat Alabama last year, I think in Alabama, right? It was in Alabama. So this Texas team, they look tough. And I think we're going to see something where we've got Ohio State, Georgia, Miami, and maybe a Texas there. Like, Miami, I think, looked better than I thought they would. I didn't.
So,
go ahead.
I think Quinn Ewers goes first quarterback next year.
Shador. I think it's going to be Shador. I don't agree with it, but I do. Yeah, the hype. No. I think the hype train gets moving, man. Sometimes the hype train gets moving. I think it's going to be
Quinn. I think Quinn goes first quarterback next year.
We will see. I think the hype train is around Shador. I think Shador, I don't think they're going to make it to a bowl game after what we saw against North Dakota State from Colorado. I don't. I think, again, that we're going to be exciting, but Arizona looked good.
Arizona did look good.
Arizona looked good. Same Big 12. Boom. Arizona's Big 12. Arizona State's not a slouch. Like, they don't look good, but they're not a slouchy team. Like, they'll put up a fight. And you've got Kansas State is going to be good. Kansas is going to be good. I just don't.
Looking good.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where Colorado not only doesn't win their conference, but makes it to a bowl game.
It depends on how they do in the out of conference games, because North Dakota State's a juggernaut in the FCS. They're better than a lot of FBS teams.
Yeah, but that's all the more reason to go out and put on a show. Like, we say that about Fresno State, and you corrected me. You said Michigan did not look good. It was just a big interception return.
Yeah.
And I conceded there. I was like, you know what, you're right. You win this round, Wes. I don't always concede to you. But when you make a really solid point that's not based in emotion, I have to be like, you know what, Wes? That is a really solid point. Michigan did not look good outside
never base
of that.
Anything in emotion.
Yeah, sure. We saw that earlier in the show. But I just think that as we look at Colorado, they're a two-man team. They really are a two-man team. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. And that is it. That's what they have.
Yeah, I mean, Shedeur Sanders, you keep saying he sucks, but I don't think so. I don't think
he sucks. Stop saying it. I've never said he sucks. Bo Nix sucks. But I think that Shedeur Sanders just doesn't have a good deep ball. I don't think he's as good as people say. I don't think he's as mobile as people say.
He had a lot of yards. He had a pretty good deep ball a few times.
I didn't think Jaden Daniels was as athletic as he is. Like, Jaden Daniels didn't look this athletic at LSU or at Arizona State.
Yes, he did. He looked really athletic at LSU. Don't give me that crap. Not as much at ASU, but he really did at LSU.
Trying to run outside the pocket. I saw Jaden Daniels get hit with one of the hardest hits I've ever seen.
Runs.
And
some jukes. So we were watching different things.
Shedeur Sanders, however, looks a little slow. Not like slow, but like, if I'm going to look at it, what does he look like? Maybe Johnny Manziel in college? Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M? Remember Johnny? Like, that's kind of what his mobility reminds me of.
Who doesn't remember Johnny Manziel?
What's that?
Who doesn't remember Johnny Manziel?
That's fair. That is fair. But that's what his mobility kind of reminds me of. Watching him play is about a Johnny Manziel level or a Baker Mayfield level. Not outrageously athletic, but enough, especially in college.
I mean, I guess I could see that, but yeah, I think he does have a really good deep ball. That's where,
and we'll continue to disagree. I mean, we'll see when it gets to the league, just like we're going to see here.
It's a long season. We got like 12 more weeks of this.
I can't wait for Sunday because
it is Sunday.
All next Sunday. All Sunday means for me is that I've got to wake up at 4 a.m. again so we can do this show post NFL games, which is it's good for you because it's Monday night. It's bad for me because it's Tuesday morning at 4 a.m.
We can find another time that works for you, big guy.
No, we can't because you work during the day and you don't work remote. But let's look at the big games on the weekend, okay? So we talked about Miami, Florida. Let's talk about Georgia-Clemson because it took Georgia a half. It did. They were not in that game in the first half.
But Clemson's also not a pushover. I agree with you that
they were in the second half. You see old Uncle Rico, the running back, the third string running back for Georgia. Did you see him stiff arm the Clemson player into the? He hit him so hard, dudes. You didn't see it?
No.
Oh my God, dude is so white. When they put up his photograph, it was washed out by the screen. Like, that's how white the running back is, the third string running back. And he stiff-armed the player from Clemson so hard in a touchdown run. And all me and the crew here at the house that were watching it, we're like, show that stiff arm again. No one cares about anything else. I want to see that stiff arm again. But yeah, looking like Uncle Rico in those streets, scoring a rushing touchdown against Clemson. So I don't know, man. You can tell me Clemson's no pushover, but I'm going to tell you what I think about Dabo Swinney. I think Dabo Swinney is soft, and he needs to stop falling back on Jesus to save his career.
Here's the thing. I agree Dabo Swinney's not great. I think he's a good X's and O's, and he's pretty good at recruiting, but he refuses to take advantage of the transfer portal, and that's going to be his undoing.
It is his undoing.
They still have talent that they're picking up that they're retaining from previous years and that they're picking up from high school. All right, they're still a good team, but they're not as good as they used to be.
On ChristianMingle.com.
No, you can't. I mean, they're not going to win the ACC again. It's probably going to be Miami or Florida State. We'll see what Florida State does.
Pitt didn't look terrible, actually, again. Pitt didn't look terrible over the weekend either. So, That conference could be wide open. You yelled out Georgia Tech is undefeated
Maybe
before we
Cal
started.
wins it. Maybe Cal wins the conference.
Cal is not winning it. Stanford already lost, so they're not winning it. Okay.
I think Stanford's the only Pac-12 team that has lost so
Talk about
far.
weird shit that's happened in our lifetime. All right. We went to war. You and I signed up during the war. We also had a pandemic. All right. We had a pandemic in our lifetime. And then in our lifetime, we saw Leicester win the British Premier League against all odds, which is crazy. But none of those things are crazier than Cal and Stanford existing in the Atlantic Coastal Conference.
Yes. On the Pacific Coast, Bay Area.
The weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. It's crazier than a David Copperfield magic trick. All right. It's crazier than us having to join the military to fight for America. The craziest thing is the big game, Cal and Stanford, now play in a conference that exists in fucking Florida.
That's stupid and it makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. What is happening?
Money is happening.
That is what happens. And Florida State and Clemson are trying to sue the ACC to leave the conference. Miami wants to leave the conference too. Miami wants to go back to being independent. Yeah, Cal and Stanford, just please, we just want to play for the ACC. Let us play somewhere. How come, so here's the thing. Is Washington State better than Cal and Stanford?
Yes.
How do they not? Oregon might be better too, right?
At football?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oregon State might be better too.
Yeah, they are.
And they don't get an invite to the ACC?
Money. Cal and Stanford have more money.
Yeah.
More resources. You're right.
You get and also you get a California market share. You get the Northern California market when you have Cal and Stanford.
Washington State and Oregon State are small towns. They don't bring a lot of viewers.
Yeah, and then the big schools in those states are Oregon, Eugene, and Washington Huskies. So that's what's gonna seal the deal.
Cal and Stanford also bring in the brains. There's a lot of smart people there.
Well, there's a lot of smart people at UCLA, and then they chose to join the Big Ten, where they're just going to get demolished after what we saw against Hawaii.
I mean, that's true. Crazy. They are.
But it's weird watching. It's weird watching a tree run around in 100-degree heat. It is. It's wild to me.
I still think they have the best mascot in college football, but
Stanford.
It's the dumbest thing ever, but it's hilarious. It's a stupid.
No, man. Remember Western Kentucky, the big red ball that eats shirts?
Too.
We used to watch the videos in your dorm room of him just breathing what is. Yeah, eating cheerleaders and eating dorm students.
Yeah.
Like little red Pac-Man. But yeah, it is weird to see these things. And it's weird to see that the big game is going to be played with ACC logos. Kind of like you said, it's so weird to see the Big Ten logos on the Oregon and Washington fields. And you were there, like I said. But it's weird to see Georgia take so long. It's weird to see Carson Beck, a Heisman candidate, not look great. There wasn't a quarterback that I was seriously that transferred. Like Riley Leonard didn't look good at Notre Dame. There wasn't a quarterback that I saw outside of Cam Ward and Quinn Ewers. And you might be right. Maybe Quinn Ewers does go number one. He's definitely going top 5 picks. But I don't know if I even count Shedeur Sanders. That was mandatory. That wasn't something that was crazy impressive, and it was against North Dakota State. Cam Ward played against Florida.
Carson Beck didn't look good.
Because he didn't look good.
He didn't look amazing, but he still looked pretty good.
I don't know. I mean, they had to put in the backup, but I think just like with Ohio State didn't look good either. They won, they beat Akron, but I watched that game soup to nuts. And they just looked okay against an Akron team they should have just wiped the floor with and had backups in.
It was 62-0.
And Akron had to.
That's literally wiping the floor. They had the mop.
Yeah, but eye test, baby, eye test. Look at the eye test. All right, it just didn't look clean. It didn't look good when I was watching it, and it was another team that just took the reins in the second half as well, just like Georgia did. So maybe you're right. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe these teams are taking about a couple quarters to get warmed up and get out there and get going. But we'll see. Ohio State's another team that had a great offseason, and they just didn't look like it.
I disagree.
They played Akron.
They did play Akron. Thank you. I can see that right there.
So what are we doing with that? Notre Dame's defense looked amazing against Texas A&M, but Mike Elko's a brand new head coach there. They've got a whole new team there.
Head coach.
And it just looks like, is Notre Dame just going to be a defensive team under Marcus Freeman now? Is that their identity?
Probably. I mean, I don't know what Notre Dame plans to do, but I mean,
making a lot of good points here, Wes.
Notre Dame
good points.
Thanks. Okay, yeah. Just cut me off as I was trying to make a point, you stupid ass. God, you're such a piece of shit.
You wanted to say I hate you so bad just now.
No.
You wanted to say, God, I hate you.
It's going to be a 9-3 team this year again.
9-3 again? That's good enough to make the playoffs. So let's get excited about the playoffs.
Now, they might be good enough to make the 12-team playoff. They're going to be right on the cusp. They're going to be a bubble team.
There's a lot of this reminds me of the NFL before Patrick Mahomes entered. Like after you had Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady, there wasn't a lot of quarterbacks that you're like, that guy's real good. It was a lot of like mediocre quarterbacks in the NFL for a while, right? Like I guess Matthew Stafford was up there, but even a lot of people doubted Matthew Stafford. That's what college football kind of reminds me of this year. We had a lot of really good quarterbacks. I didn't think J.J. McCarthy should have gotten the top 10, but, that's just me. I didn't think he was great.
So here's the thing. I think you're being a little reactionary after week one.
Do you want to go on? Or are you just going to lean back with satisfaction with that comment?
I'm going to lean back with satisfaction because I know I'm right.
That's the show, Wes. We do a sports show. We react to shit. We have to react to things. All right? And I don't know that this is reactionary. Now, we're going to get a better sample as the season goes on. But the quarterbacks that were supposed to look good. Quinn Ewers looked good. Cam Ward looked good. Shador was okay. I don't think Ohio State's quarterback looked good. I hate you. That was your contribution. Oregon, also good.
Oregon, not so good. Dylan Gabriel, he looked good.
I think the people understand what I was doing there. You just wedged Oregon's quarterback into the look good.
Yeah, but you said Oregon looked good, and they did not look good.
All right,
no.
So we got a huge game where we're going to see Quinn Ewers get tested. All right, we got a big game where we're going to see Oklahoma State get tested next week, and I'm excited about it because I think Michigan's going to get destroyed by Texas. I really do. I think it's going to be a place where you take Texas and you don't you give up the points. Like, who cares what the points are against Texas here, or against Michigan? Because I think Michigan is not going to be good this year in any meaningful way. Whereas,
it's in the big house. That counts for a touchdown, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it counts for a touchdown, and it counts for a very loud crowd. But Michigan's played it in the big house.
A really good game, and I am so excited for that.
There's not much else to watch next weekend except for that game. And then, of course, you've got Oklahoma facing off against Houston, which could be a fun game, could be a shootout.
Houston looked trash in week one.
And we also have my lookout game of the week that I told you, why do you schedule 2 games in a row in Idaho? Why do you do that if you're Oregon?
And it's in Idaho.
You're right. But I mean, okay, thank you, Wes. 2 teams out of the state of Idaho. Fair enough. They're playing in Eugene, which is scary.
Okay,
right? Eugene is
a team from Montana and a team from Idaho. What do you want? What do you want here?
So
that's those are the teams that were available for a game.
Are you good? Did you get it out of your system again, Bow Wow? So let's get back to this. All right. I think Boise State has Oregon on upset alert at home.
No.
Are you saying that because you're a fan or because you really believe it?
I believe it.
Why'd your eyebrow raise when you said that?
Well, we got some stuff to work on, but we know what we need to work on. And you can't even see my eyebrows. My eyebrows are so pale.
You can't see my eyebrows. I'm white.
All right, so I do have them on upset alert. That is my upset pick this week is going to be that. I hope I'm wrong because I need Oregon to be good because I need the Pac to show out in the Big Ten. I really do. But I've got one more
in one day.
One more upset pick, Wes. One more, and I think you're going to agree with this one. You ready? Hey. I think Appalachian State upsets Clemson this weekend.
No.
You're against me on that one too?
Yeah. App State sucks. This isn't the Appalachian State of 2007 when they beat Michigan.
What are you talking about?
They beat East Tennessee State.
Wes, I'm picking them to upset Clemson and Dabo Sweeney.
And I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
All right. Do you have any upsets you want to call out right now? Or are you just going to sit there satisfied with your one-word answers, Wes?
You didn't
You're looking
ask me
too far
to
into
through
this.
the schedule next week for upsets, okay? Schedule memorized right now.
You didn't
Next week. I don't have that big of a memory, all right?
You didn't tell me that watching football was a part of my job.
I know it's a part of my job, but usually I get to Saturday, I'm like, oh, what games do we have? Like, I know who my teams are playing, and then I'm like, oh, we got this game. I know the big games, and I know who my teams are playing. And then I go, oh, that's going to be fun. All right, I'll watch.
Don't you wiggle your deformed finger at me?
Look a week ahead and look at every game and commit them to memory like you do.
I think it's going to be a good weekend. I am excited like you are. I'm not as faithful in Michigan's team this year as you are. I do think Texas is going to, in the words of Michael Scott from The Office, rock the house, rock the big house, if you will. I think that about sums it up this week, Wes. I mean, I'm excited.
You haven't talked about LSU and USC in a few hours.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun. I agree they're gonna lose. Not the blowing out.
What are you? Are you a 19th villain? What was that? Was this the slowed head turn? No. Don't be so sure, Captain.
I think it ends up like a 10-point game.
A 10-point
Let's see his talent. Let's see if they fix their defense. I'm not sure if they did.
I
didn't
Lincoln
pay that
Riley,
much attention to him.
I think Lincoln Riley wants to take the bullet train out of Los Angeles. I think he wants to get as far away from there as he can. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything without Caleb Williams, and we're going to see it. I believed in him, but I think I was wrong to believe in him. When he was
all right, you want an upset?
Yeah, go ahead. If you got one, you got an upset for us?
Baylor's going to beat Utah.
I guess that counts as an upset. All right. Baylor over Utah. Is that just wishful thinking because you hate Utah? Because you hate Utah from what Utah could do to Oregon?
Actually. Arkansas over Oklahoma State.
That one is a real one because they got some Whompers down there in Arkansas that are just big old hogs, like their namesake.
Hogs.
Now, I did make it out to the Peterborough-Wrexham game, and I'll just do a brief commentary on it. It was a lot of fun. It was great to be back out there. Peterborough has like a whole new squad. Like they've got picked clean, and they've got a whole new squad out there that just hasn't meshed yet. Whereas Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney have put together a juggernaut in Wrexham. They look like they belong in the English Championship, and I think they're going to get there this year. They looked good. I was sad in my Peterborough jersey watching my team just get demolished 2-0 by Wrexham. They missed a lot of good chances, too. That was what was sad about watching Peterborough. They probably had 5 chances that were wide open, and they missed all 5. Missed an open header, missed an open shot at an open net. Like they were just missing left and right, and it cost them the game, and it cost them a point. So it was really a hard watch.
Sorry, I was just going through the schedule, and I had one other game. All right, that I think it's going to be on upset alert. I don't think they pull it off.
We're not done yet,
but it's going to be on upset alert going into the fourth quarter.
Okay, which game?
Florida-Samford.
You think Samford's going to beat Florida?
No,
you said you don't think they're going to win. You think it's going to be close going into the fourth.
Close going into the fourth.
Wow,
I think it's going to be like a 6 or 3 point game going into the fourth.
You really think Billy Napier is done, huh? You really think Billy Napier is done?
He's done.
All right. Well, better than Willie Taggart over at Oregon. That was his quick tenure,
bro.
And then went back to Florida State, and then he got nixed.
I'm sad I didn't get to see a Peterborough game when I was there, but I mean, next time.
We're still working to get you out here during the season. We'll see what happens. Like I know we haven't heard back on whether or not you're going to be able to make it out to the NFL games, but that would be cool.
Probably not.
If you do, we'll go out. Like just be on Skyscanner, buddy. This podcast is not sponsored by Skyscanner, but if Skyscanner wants to get one of our 3 viewers to buy a plane ticket on Skyscanner.com, now might be the time. All right, Wes. Well, that's all we have. It was fun arguing with you today, buddy. I think you're going to be wrong on a lot of things you said, and you probably think I'm going to be wrong on a lot of things I said.
Pretty much always right.
So cheers to Bo Nix being terrible, but Dylan Gabriel being better. Cheers to putting Oregon on upset. And we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us.